Well, this is my second ride here, and check that out, guys. Check that out. I rode past this earlier today, an hour ago, and there was nothing. Interesting, interesting. I'll show this. This took 2 parts to do, but yeah, that was not here a little bit ago. All right, guys, the fender and rack came in. Today we're going to put it together, and we're going to take it for another spin, I hope. Yeah, so let's get started on this thing. Yeah, these have been sitting in Portland for weeks. All right, two items here: front fender, rear fender with a rack. Doesn't look like a rocket science. Let's get started. Number 10 in the back. And it looks like a 5 up front, maybe a 4 up front. And start tightening the, I think it's a 4. I'm using a triangle Allen wrench set. I don't really know what it is. It looks like a 4. I got the light at its highest position on its bracket. That's pretty tight. Now I'll bring the light up and I'll tighten it the rest of the way. Okay, that's pretty easy, pretty successful. Now we got to put the stays on. All right, here's where the stay goes on this bike. And right now they got just a little plug in there. Pull the plug out. So on this, there's a plug in here, you pull the plug out. And then on these brackets, there's a threaded side and a non-threaded side. Take your little, your small screw. Now it's a very, very small screw, and others have mentioned you may want to get a longer screw than what comes with it. Looks like on mine this is going to work, but I would also put maybe a little Loctite on it. The blue Loctite, not the red Loctite. That screw is too short. I think I have others to replace it, but I want to take a ride on it, and I want to put it together with what they said first. Okay, that one's in, locked down. Let's do the other side. Yeah, that side went in much better. 3/8 inch screws long enough. Okay, so that's done. You can see I got dirt up here. So that's splatter coming off the road for not having a back fender. Battery operated tail light. But they give you one here too. So I don't really need them both on. I'll tell you, this goes on real easy. This is a nice fender rack combination set up the way they've got it done. Yeah, and these are too short to go through this and that. So take the 2 that came in the box, take these 2 and put up into the front. Now I'm taking the longer ones that were in the box and I'm putting it on the bottom of the rack. And if I don't have 2 more in my stock of extra stuff, I'll have to go to the depot or to Ace Hardware, True Value Hardware, wherever you buy your single screws, and get 2 more for the top. Okay, that one's on now. I'll go do the other side on the bottom. All right, guys. There are 4 of these longer screws in the box to work. So you're going to take 2 of these screws out of the back and put in the front fender stay on the other one. I knew I heard something fall out of the box when I took the stuff out, and it was those 2 bolts. And as beautiful as my floor is, guys, as beautiful as it is, when something falls on it, unless it lands on yellow, blue's okay. But if it lands on black and it's dark, woo, it becomes hard. All right, let's flip to the other side and get the last one. All right, guys, as simple as this is to put the front fender and back fender on, it almost is as long as it is to assemble the bike itself. Hey, we're taking the second ride. We just got the fenders installed and the rack installed. Now we're going to take off and start riding the bike. Lost the camera facing forward footage due to, yeah, that neck strap gets me, maybe not as often as the harness, but it got me this time. What's going on is the lapel microphone has a little clip on it, and that clip hit the back of the camera and turned it from video to photo mode, and I actually had about 6 pictures of the ride. So that's why we're voicing over on this portion of the ride. And again, it was my fault. Nothing really that the neck strap or anything else did. I'm actually starting to like the neck strap. I am going to try a few different things, trying to get it to look a little lower. It just feels a little cumbersome up at the top of the neck. Anyway, we're off riding the bike, and as you notice, this bike has hydraulic brakes. The thing I've never talked about yet is that logo in the front. That has got to be one of the coolest logos of any bike manufacturer. What it is kind of a crescent-shaped moon with like an alien climbing on the moon and stuff like that. It's just really a cool logo. And I should have mentioned it on the first video, but man, if you're into logos, MoonCool did a really good job of creating their logo. Where we're off to right now is it's noon, it's lunchtime. I worked on the bike getting the things, the rack and the fenders on. Really not the easiest rack and fender to put on in terms of how easy or hard it is. It's just comes with a few more parts, a little L bracket that you got to put on, some shorter screws. They could have been, they're like 1/4 inch. They could have been 3/8 inch screws. That would have solved a little bit of the problem. And the screws, look at all them potholes. Whoa, that's crazy. The screws could have been in a bag. Mine were loose in the bottom of the box, and so when I tipped the box out, 2 of them rolled on the floor, and I couldn't find them for a while. Other than that, the build is okay. I do have a small little rub coming from the back fender, and it's because it's a little bit close to the wheel. That's a pretty fixable non-issue to me. So after this ride, I will fix that, and that'll stop the rubbing. And the fenders are real interesting. I know people talk about those fenders going, well, these are a little bit different. What they look like to me are the same fenders that RVING uses. I have an RVING fat tire bike in my garage right now. It's a friend's. I'm holding it for him. And when I looked at the fender, I was like, huh, that looks familiar. And so kind of looked around at all the bikes, and sure enough, it does look like the RVING style fender. You know, and RVING doesn't use cheap stuff, so it may not be the same fender, but it sure does work okay. And the rack comes attached to the fender already, so that's kind of a plus too. You don't have to worry about that. And another thing I would tell you is this. If you choose not to get the rack and fender package, watch the rack that you get. If you decide, hey, I want a little rack and I'm going to buy it from Amazon, you can buy those little post racks. Well, they're pretty small, and They're okay. They get the job done, but they're nothing like a manufacturer's rack directly from the manufacturer of the bike. MoonCool has done a really nice job on this bike. The dual 500 watt motors. So far, I've ridden it a lot in rear wheel drive and in dual wheel drive. I nearly don't just put it into front wheel drive. I haven't really quite figured a need for front wheel only. You know, I know car manufacturers have done it, but I don't know why bike manufacturer has done that. And there are more than just this bike that does it. And I think it's just because you have the ability to add it kind of free of charge, because all it is a toggle switch to make it go on and off. And yeah, so that's what I think it is. I'm heading off to Subway. I'm going to get a sub sandwich. My wife has decided to go to lunch with a friend at work, and I figured, I mean, she's working anyway, but I figured, well, if she can do lunch out, I'll do lunch out. Even though I have sandwich fixings here, I decided I want a sub. So that's where we're pulling into, I think, right now. No, I'm coming around the corner yet. So Subway's just down here a little bit. I end up getting a foot-long sub and some barbecue chips, and then I'm going to head back to the house. As for the bike, I love the white color. I love the feel of it. The front with the wheel, the motor, a little bit heavier, and I ride across that white line on my left. As we're looking at it, our right. When I rode over that line, the line has actually got a little bit of elevation on it, and I thought, wow, that's kind of weird. So the front end felt a little heavier. I think I'm going to, did I do it yet? No. The front end felt a little heavier than a non-motorized front end. It just kind of threw me off a little bit, like what's going on there. But it didn't hurt anything, wasn't doing anything, and it was cool. All right, I'm going to pull in here, and then I will be out in a second. I noticed that there's 4 people standing in line. Well, man. Well, guess what? They were real nice kids. They let me cut. I guess they weren't ready to order, but it was nice of them to let me cut in line. All right, I guess it's been long enough. I think I've packaged everything up, put it in the backpack. Now here I come, and we're going to ride back to the house where I'm going to eat lunch and edit some video, and then I have to go back out in the garage and fix up some of the stuff that I need to improve my studio a little bit for myself. That won't be in this video, but I'm improving it for future videos. Anyway, let's get back to riding. Yeah, this is a $13.99 bike, and with my coupon, you can get it for $12.99. There's not a lot of bikes out there that are this nice. Dual 500 watt motors, 14.5 amp, 48 volt battery, fat tire bikes that are that price. It's a really good price, and it's a nice bike. I'm going to tell you that there's really maybe 2 or 3 things that are cons of the bike that I'm pointing over to my son's house. My son lived right over there. Anyway, there's 2 or, you know, I can name you a plethora of pros. And, you know, that's what a lot of people do, but this is my second ride. So I'm going to give you there's only really maybe 3 cons, if there are 3. So let's talk about those. The biggest first con to some people will be it's a 20 mile an hour bike, and I think you can unlock it to 24 or 25 miles an hour. I have tried to get in. It looks like it's passcoded. I will see if I can get the passcode to open it up to 24, 25. But that's maybe the biggest for some people. 20 miles an hour is just fine. I didn't find myself needing to go faster at any point in time I've rode the bike. The second thing, I guess, would be the bigger for some people, would be that the rear brakes are not lit in that they are powered by the battery. They are powered by the very, very back one on the rack is powered by two AAA batteries. And I think the one that is on the seat post is powered by either a rechargeable or a small little coin type battery. Not a biggie. The good thing is, when you do apply the brake, it is a kind of a slam brake. So you put the brake on, and it senses that you put the brake on by the momentum shift, and it shows the brake light work. So that's a really nice feature. And for some people, and they can change this out for around 40 to 60 bucks, is some people say the 42 tooth sprocket creates ghost pedaling. On this ride, I did try to pedal as fast as I could. I was in gear 7, and the highest rate of speed that the bike could go was doing 20 miles an hour, and I could still feel resistance on the pedal. So unless you move it up to, say a 25 mile an hour bike, I think what's on it is adequate. And those are really, I think, the only things that I would say are the negatives of the bike. And I don't think they're showstoppers, game stoppers at all. For the price of this bike, it's a heck of a lot of bike for that price. And I'm trying to keep this video short. I know I always say that too. I try to keep a short video, and I never can do it. I never can stay within the parameter of my what I'm looking to do. Hopefully on this one, I'm going to do that. All right. Now I'm coming back around the corner to my house. I got my sandwich and chips and a Coke Zero on my back, and we have turned in and we are completing the ride. It's a nice ride. I did go between rainstorms. Currently I'm editing and it's raining outside. So yeah, it was a nice ride. It's a nice bike. Guys, look in the description below. And if you're in the need for a 26-inch fat tire bike, that'll get you where you need to go. And if you want to spend $1,600, this is the bike to get 29 amps of power and fenders and rack. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Peace, take care, and we'll see you on the next episode.